So dear students, we will start our next lecture of cell and molecular biology. So lecture number 4. Last time we have seen the prokaryotic cell in detail. Prokaryotic cell where the nuclear material is scattered randomly and it is not bounded by a nuclear membrane. But here now we will see the eukaryotic cells. Eukaryotic cells means uh, plant cell or animal cell. These both cells are nothing but the eukaryotic type of cells, where the plasma membrane or cell wall is there, then nucleus is there, nucleolus is also there in between nucleus, and here in plant cell chloroplasts are seen, and in animal the ribosomes and automat. Actually, all material is common except plastid or chloroplast, which are present in plant, and cell wall in a plant cells. In spite of that, here where plasma membrane is there in the animal cell. So these both are the eukaryotic cells. So last time we have seen prokaryotic, now we will see in detail about the eukaryotic cells. So eukaryotic word comes from the Latin word eu means true and karyotic means nucleated. So where the true nucleus is there, the cell is called as eukaryotic. Means true nucleus means what? The nuclear material is bounded by the nuclear membrane, and this is the true nucleus. So these type of cells essentially have two envelope systems, and they are very much larger than the prokaryotic cells. So eukaryotic cells are larger, then they have double envelopes and they are covered with nuclear membrane in the nucleus, and this is nothing but the eukaryotic cell. So eukaryotic cells are the true cells which occur in the plants, example algae or angiosperms, and in animals from protozoa to mammalian. All cells have a true eukaryotic cells. Though the eukaryotic cells have different shapes, size and physiology, all the cells are typically composed of plasma membrane, means outer covering to the cell, then cytoplasm, internal material, and its organelles. The cytoplasm contains different cell organelles, that is mitochondria for energy supplement, endoplasmic reticulum for communication to other cells, ribosomes for protein synthesis, then lysosomes work as suicide bags and they helps in digestion, internal digestion. Then Golgi complex, they form the vesicles and likewise activities, etc. There are so many other cell organelles. They take part in different activities of the cell and perform the physiology. And a true nucleus, at last nucleus is the central body of the cell. It controls all the activities of the cell. So here nuclear contains, in nucleus, the main DNA and RNA are the main nuclear contents. In spite of that, nucleoproteins are there, and nucleus remains separated from the cytoplasm by a thin perforated nuclear membrane. So therefore we call it a eukaryotic cell. Nuclear membrane is there. Then the general feature of different types of eukaryotic cells are described one by one here. The cell shape, cell size, everything is studied here. So first of all we will see what the cell shape, because shape of cells in all animals is variable. Their function is also variable. So how and why, that we will see. The basic shape of this cell, or particularly general eukaryotic cell, or we can say typical eukaryotic cell, is spherical. However, the shape is ultimately determined by specific function of the cell, because each and every cell have specific function. Thus, the shape of cell may be variable or fixed. The function, according to function, so in lung they perform the exchange of gases, in intestine they perform the digestion, and likewise different cells have different functions. The variable or irregular shape is occurring in amoeba and white blood cells, because amoeba and white blood cells are same in structure about shape, They are irregularly arranged, whereas the fixed shape occurs in almost all protists or plants and animals, because these are the maximum similar structure, similar function in spite of a little change. So they have maximum similarity. In unicellular organism, the cell shape is maintained by tough plasma membrane and exoskeleton. In multicellular organism, or we can say eukaryotic cells, the shape of the cell depends mainly on its functional adaptations. Means whatever the function they perform, it depends on the activity, or we can say role, and partly on the surface tension, because the eukaryotic cell have different organelles as well as different matrix in their cytoplasm, and they have different surface tension, and therefore these all the activities performing the activity of cells, or we can say maintains the physiology. Viscosity of the protoplasm also plays a key role, then cytoskeleton of microtubules, then microfilaments and intermediate filaments. They also perform the activities of the cells or functions. Then the mechanical action of adjacent cell and rigidity of the plasma membrane. These both are also important and they play a key role there. The shape of cells may vary from animal to animal, because the cells that may be of the one type but shows variable shape in different animals, and also from organ to organ even in the same animal. Even the cells of same organ may display variations in shape. Thus the cell may have diverse shape such as polyhedral or squamous or flattened or columnar or discoidal or spherical or spindle shaped or elongated and branched. These are the different types of cells. Among plants, the cell shape also depends upon the functions of the cells. Like animal, the plants also show same similarity as according to their functions. This is about the first character. Now second, cell size. The size of cell is also different. In eukaryotic cells, typically these are larger and measures about 10 to 100 micrometer, whereas the prokaryotic cells have only 1 to 10 micrometer in size, and in comparison the typical eukaryotic cell is more larger, or we can say 10 times larger. The size of cells of unicellular organisms is larger. Generally, amoeba, or we can example is amoeba proteus, or eulina, or paramecium, or different protozoans have a larger shape of their cells. Means amoeba is a unicellular aquatic organism. Its a shape or its a size is ranging about 1000 micrometer, means 1 mm. So this is quite larger than the other eukaryotic cells, or we can say among eukaryotic cells amoeba is the larger. And one species of eulina is found up to 0.5 mm. You see, this is 1 mm, this is half mm. Example, paramecium caudatum is the protozoan, and it has 150 to 300 micrometer in size, whereas the diatoms have length of 200 micrometer or more. So diatoms are also unicellular organisms. The single-celled algae or acetabularia, like amoeba in plant, alga and acetabularia are also large-sized living beings, and they measures up to 10 centimeter in length. So these are quite larger in plants than the animal cells. And the size of multicellular organism ranges between 20 to 30 micrometers. So this is about the shell shape and cell size. So these are the characters what we are studying here: shape, size, volume and number. So these are different in different eukaryotic organisms, eukaryotic cells we can say, in different organisms. So cell volume is a fairly constant for a particular cell type and is independent of the size of the organism. Means according to change in size of organism, the cell volume is also changes. For example, kidney or liver cells are about same size in the bull, horse and mouse. These all are the mammals, but animals are, mouse is very small animal, horse and bull are larger animals, but even though these three animals shows the same size of cells in kidney and liver. So this is the magic, and the difference in total mass of organ or organism depends on the number, not one volume of the cells. And thus the cells of an elephant are not necessarily larger than those of the tiny mammals like rat or plants. Only the volume is different, the size number is different, but volume is about same, and the size of elephant is larger due to large number of cells, not large volume. Large number of cells are there present in the body, but volume comparatively to the body average weight is, or average volume is same. And last one is the cell number. So this is variable as we have seen here in the volume. In rat and cat, both are the mammals, but cell numbers are larger. In rat they are less in number, whereas in cat they are more in number. So the number of cells present in the organisms varies from a single cell in unicellular organism to many cells in the multicellular organism. And the number of cells in multicellular organism is remaining correlated with size of the organism, and therefore small sized organism has less number of cells in comparison with the large sized organism. For example, a human being is weighing about 80 kg, may contain about 60,000 billion cells in his body, and this number will be more in certain other multicellular animals. Means we can say in comparison with human being, the cells are 60,000 billion, but this number increases in elephant and this number decreases in rat. So this is the change in cell number according to the shape and size of the body, or we can say weight in kilogram of the body. So this depends on the size of the organism or animal. So what are the general organization of eukaryotic cells? Means we have seen the picture of eukaryotic cell in simple way here. So what are the general organizations? That all the cells have plasma membrane, then they have internal cytoplasm. In cytoplasm they have mitochondria, lysosomes, ribosomes, then Golgi bodies, endoplasmic reticulum, etc. etc. All these cell organelles working together for the cell activities, or we can say cell factory. It works as a factory because all elements together work to perform different physiological functions in a cell. So what are those? We will see one by one. With few differentiations in eukaryotic cell of the plant and animal, the general organizations of this cell are similar. The general organization of typical animals is consist of three main components that we have seen in the previous figure, but in next figure we will also see figure number 2.2. We will see in detail in the next slide what is these all organelles: plasma membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus. These are the three main hero, we can say, in the eukaryotic cell, which perform the whole and soul activities and maintains the physiology. So first of all is the plasma membrane. This is the outermost covering of the cell. This binds the cell, it gives shape to the cell. So most of the animals' cell have an external covering known as plasma membrane, or we can say cell membrane, or we can say plasma lemma. This is a Latin word, but meaning is that plasma membrane. It is ultra thin, means very thin. This is delicate, then selectively permeable and porous. In spite of that, it has lipoproteinous living membrane. Means lipid and proteins are present together and jointly perform the functions. So this is called as lipoprotein material. Primarily, it provides mechanical support and external form to the cells. So we will see in detail the structure of the eukaryotic cell, the typical eukaryotic cell in animal. Actually in plant, we have no need to study it because we are not the candidates of botany. So we are the students of geology, and therefore we will see here the animal cell, typical animal cell of eukaryotic type. In general, the cell have the plasma membrane, which is binding the whole cell from outside, and the cell have also some cilium or flagellum or likewise outgrowth, and the membrane is folded. The membrane of eukaryotic cell may be folded or may be plain according to the situation. For example, these are folded here, called as microvilli, that we have seen in mucous membrane of the intestine. Then granulated, or we can say smooth endoplasmic reticulum, whereas these are the rough endoplasmic reticulum, where the dots are there, or we can say ribosomes are attached, like granules are attached on the membrane. This is the smooth endoplasmic, SER we can call it, and this is RER, rough endoplasmic reticulum. So this is the rough granular material is attached to the surface. So this is the whole cell, this is the outer plasma membrane, this is inner nucleus. In between nucleus there is a small nucleolus, and this in between this nucleus and cytoplasm, whatever the nuclear material is there, it has the DNA material, chromosomes scattered inside the nucleus. Outside the nucleus, these are the RER that communicates to the cell membrane. Then these are the mitochondrial bodies. So these are the powerhouse of the cell. They generate power inside them by physiology. This small dot like cluster is here. These dots are nothing but the ribosomes. They take part in the protein synthesis. Then this is the internal membrane fold. These are the folds here. This is the membrane internal fold. Then this is the plasma membrane that we have seen. All outer lining is nothing but the plasma membrane, and the plasma membrane is resting on the basal membrane. Therefore it is known as basal membrane. In spite of that, these are for the breaking down of the rods into Golgi bodies, and Golgi bodies forming different secretion or secretory granules, or we can call it as secretory vesicles. In this way, the whole activities of the eukaryotic cell are carried out, and in that, this is the pinocytosis vesicle or pinocytic vesicles. Pinocytosis is the method through which the cell engulfs the foreign bodies. So this is the pinocytic vesicle formed in this villi, or we can say microvilli. In spite of that, the cell membrane or plasma membranes are binded by a desmosomes, or we can say the plasma membranes which are comes together with the attachment, that is the desmosomes. This is a very simple way that all the eukaryotic cell organelles are working together to perform different actions. Now the cytoplasm. The cell have outer plasma membrane, inner cytoplasm, and in cytoplasm there are different cell organelles that we will see one by one. In cytoplasm there is a nucleus at the center, and in a nucleus there is a nucleolus that we have seen in the previous figure. It shows both exocytosis and endocytosis, and also allows the passage of solvent as well as solute material through the plasma membrane. So plasma membrane has these all functions, exocytosis and endocytosis, and one of them we have seen pinocytosis. If the liquid material is there that is being engulfed by the membrane is called as pinocytosis. So we have seen plasma membrane, now cytoplasm. The space lies between the plasma membrane and the nucleus is filled by an amorphous, translucent, homogeneous and colloidal liquid or matrix known as cytoplasmic matrix or cytoplasmic material, or simply we can say cytoplasm. And this matrix is non-living material. This is composed of inorganic as well as organic molecules, and the main living and membrane bounded organelles are different. We will study one by one. In cytoplasm, whatever the cell organelles are there, one is the endoplasmic reticulum, ER. These are two types. We have seen smooth and rough ER. So smooth means having no granules, and rough means having granules or different granules attached on the membrane. It is a complex network of hollow membrane bounded fluid filled channels in the cytoplasm. It is connected to the plasma membrane on one side and to the nuclear membrane on the other side. Means plasma membrane can communicate with other cells by passing the direct message of nucleus to the another cell. The surface of ER is smooth or rough due to ribosomes attached on it. If ribosomes are attached or granules are attached on ER, it is rough ER. If ribosomes are not there, it is smooth ER. So these are the two types of endoplasmic reticulum, smooth and rough ER. Functionally, it provides a structural network to the cell and giving mechanical support, synthesis and storage. So these are the functions that performed by endoplasmic reticulum. So this is about our present endoplasmic reticulum, and we will see in further the other cell organelles that we will describe one by one, that is mitochondria, then Golgi bodies. Everything will be described in the further lecture. So till then we will concise our lecture here and see you to the next lecture. See you, bye.